Hello, 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 salut. I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome. Home. Okay, so this video is important because I'm done with the Bible discussions playlist, and I'm done with the playlist about the Lion King, and those are the foundation of Yan Sui, and so it's important for me to say that, like I've said in almost every video, I've said that I don't believe that God's a man in the sky. I don't believe that there's such a thing as a book that's the Word of God. I don't believe in those concepts at all. Like, I'm not even close. Like, I just, there's nothing in my being that believes in those concepts. I don't believe in those things. Absolutely do not. And but yet the Bible is still really important to me. I believe that the Bible is mostly fiction. And so what the Yan Sui believe, we believe in basically cherry picking the Bible, and even to some degree cherry picking the life story of Haile Selassie, like a chaos magician, Though I only recently even heard of. I've had a friend that was a chaos magician, So I've heard of it, but I never wondered what it was, or asked, or read any books, or watched any videos or anything until recently. And they seem to have most everything in common, much in common. It's the same kind of thing, On the Liber Null and the Psychonaut book, or I think it's called, which was an interesting book. It says there is no truth, and you can do anything you will, or something like that, which is a lot like the motto of witchcraft anyway. Do what thou wilt, but hurt none. And that's I believe in that. I don't believe in morality policing, But so this video, so I've already gone over those. I've said these things many times. It's just I have to start this video that way. The main point I want to make in this video is just so I've turned you on. If you didn't already know about, I've turned you on to the Bible, the academics, the Bible scholars. And I've left you many links to Dan McClellan, to Bart Ehrman, to Karen Armstrong. Those are the ones that are the most influential. I like the show Myth Vision a lot, which he's just someone a lot like me that just has big fans, and he does such a good job making videos. It can blow your mind. Wow. So I've turned you on to all those things, and I encourage that, because like one of the things is when people believe that God's a man in the sky, that they're leaders of their churches, or prophets, or divine, divinely in place, or believe that the Bible, that their scripture is the word of God. Those kind of people, they need to defend that. If you say, well, God's has changed, 2,000 years ago, the concept of God is different than it is now, that hurts their feelings. And they say, no, it isn't. God's the same today, yesterday, and forever. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I can even be wrong and change my mind. I can learn and adapt and improve like a scientist can. Science is, like, you can tell when someone's on the side of truth, because they don't stay the same forever, Like some people say nowadays, they're saying that that carbohydrates aren't as bad, and that fat's good, and like people, but that's a good thing. That's the side of the truth. The evolving knowledge that improves and proceeds forward, adapting and changing as we learn more and more. Um, but the theist perspective, and I'm a theist too, but like the theist perspective is that you believe that these things are divine, so you have to defend it, that it's always the same, and then it causes them to believe things that aren't even true, and they start detaching from reality and start thinking science is a conspiracy and start getting all weirder and weirder and weirder, and more astray, like a piece of wood floating in the ocean. Like Selassie says at the beginning of his autobiography, the house built on sand or on a bad foundation doesn't last. He doesn't say it that way. It's pretty far off, but that's true. So the big thing with the scholars is if they were to watch my videos, then they probably wouldn't watch enough videos to really know what I'm saying, and they would just assume that I'm like other people, and they wouldn't understand that I can be wrong, that I can learn, and that I don't and these things that I've just said. But their big thing is they believe that the prophecies of the Bible aren't what the writers of the Bible intended them to be. So like how I say that Haile Selassie is the Lion of Judah of Revelations 5:5, they would say no, the data doesn't support that, because the people that wrote those apocryphal from the genre of the apocalypse that have written those things, they didn't mean, they meant that the whatever this thing was that was going to happen, it would happen, 100 years after Jesus, like long ago, and that they didn't have any intention that it would be something that would happen this far in the future. And so that's what they say, that's what the data supports. But I still haven't heard any of them they don't talk about the Lion of Judah opening the 7 seals. They don't mention that. They might mention the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They might mention little pieces of it, but people have always done that. That no one else says this is the Lion of Judah who opened these seals, and therefore this is the implication. No, those things are avoided by even the scholars. And so, like I said, the Yan Sui, we cherry pick, so, and we believe that these things are mostly fiction, but we believe that they are connected to things that are real, and the last days, the end of times, the great and dreadful day of the Lord, there is reason to believe that it would be, it was 1,000 whatever, like I say in one of my videos, that based on Herbert Armstrong's teachings, that the blessing would be postponed, and then the law of 7 times 7 or whatever it is, and then that when Jah has blessings, and then you don't, there are conditional, and you don't do it right, then time is added on to it. Before that, those things can happen, and all this, If you want to read about that, you would want to read Herbert Armstrong's book, The U.S. and Britain in Prophecy, which all his books are free on Herbert W. Armstrong Library and Archives. I'm sorry, Herbert W. Armstrong Searchable Library. They changed it at one point for some reason. Go to that, and you can read the Book of Revelations Unveiled at Last, Who is the Beast, and the Middle East in Prophecy, and the U.S. and Britain in Prophecy, or the U.S. and the British Commonwealth in Prophecy. It has 2 titles. Especially the U.S. and Britain in Commonwealth in Prophecy. You'd want to read that one. And it goes over the things that aren't being considered. So before you're sure that what the scholars say about the apocalypse applies to me, you should read that book and see for sure what I'm saying. And they'd say, yeah, we know about Herbert Armstrong, but even Herbert Armstrong he knew he was Elijah, but he didn't know who he was preparing the way for. What the Yan Sui have done is we've put things together based on the teachings of the Rasta elders, especially the 12 tribes of Israel founded by the prophet Gad, but still in a unique way, in a personal experience kind of a way. These things have been put together. It reminds me of when I read my son the book. We got the movie E.T. and we watched the movie E.T. And then I got the book and we read the book. In the book, how E.T. really loved Reese's Pieces. In the book, he liked M&Ms, plain M&Ms. You know. So if I said the movie's not accurate, the book says they're plain M&Ms, and in the movie they're Reese's Pieces. So the movie's full of crap. The data doesn't support what the movie says, you know. So what? You know? Just watch the damn movie. You know, who cares? You know? It's the things I just said with that added to it, you know. Like I said, I don't believe it's all just mostly 60 to 80% fiction anyway. It's just different legends and things taken from different cultures brought together, and then things added to it for political reasons, and then translators, and just all that goes into the Bible. You know, some Rastas just say it's just too corrupt by white man's agenda, and they just refuse to even touch the thing, you know. And I'm about like them. So my playlist, the Bible discussions playlist, that playlist, if you're gonna you know, all roads lead to Rome, your own kind of ital, if you're gonna follow this system of free thinking, which could become very different than mine, if you wanted to follow the way of the Yan Sui, then you would want to watch this. You would want to study every word of that and all the documentaries. You'd want to just watch it 15-20 minutes a day until you've watched the whole thing, and pay attention, maybe even take notes, make sure you understand what's going on, and then branch out from there. And like, for example, maybe you're listening to a Bob Marley song, he's all Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Go, hey, the playlist didn't ever say anything about Ham, Shem, and Japheth. I mean, not Ham, Shem, Japheth. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is mentioned in one of Bob's songs once, but I don't talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I do talk about Ham, Shem, and Japheth, but I don't talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know, hey, what about that? You know, well then just do the same thing by yourself. Just read the story in the Bible, and then see if Bart Ehrman said anything about it. See if Karen Armstrong, you know, and then how things work. You know, look at start a key. You know, listen. I always get like 5 to 10 different opinions on everything before you can be sure that you can trust yourself to try to piece it all together and decide what you think. And, you know, maybe even read a book about it, you know, on top of that. And spend lots of time, if you're an herb smoker, spend time, if it's a big deal to you, you know, and it's relevant for whatever reason, you know, think about it, smoke some herb and think about it, both while smoking herb and not smoking herb. And just, you know, try to, you know, just like go build your own kind of ital, you know. I don't know how you should do that. Only you do. It's your thing. but they say you can't do that. You're cherry picking the Bible. You can do that. That's what we do. We cherry pick. We don't. Who cares? You know, M&Ms, Reese's Pieces. So what? You know what? I'm not. Why should I? Why should I spend the rest of my life watching, reading every book Bart Ehrman wrote, and every everything every Bible scholar said, and just make sure I know everything they say so that my beliefs about the Bible can be as accurate as possible. So that's the beauty of Haile Selassie. Um, and is that Haile Selassie, um, replaces all those things. Herbert Armstrong prepares you for the Bible, and Herbert Armstrong and the Bible, and your herb smoking and then living these things and thinking about them, all prepares you for Selassie. And then after a while, you just don't need those things, and you just kind of stay closer to Selassie and read and reread the autobiography, because you're interested in peace. So whereas the other people, like they're what's their agenda? That their leaders represent God, and you should give them money and believe everything they say. But they don't have any system of peace. All they do is point. These are the bad guys. Go kill them. And they're just warmongers, murderers, pillagers, rapers, covering up, saying people that rape didn't rape, and just the power that they're given, if you're listening to them, is all corrupt. God hates fags, and the things they say, that by their fruits you shall know them. Who cares what their interpretations are? The Bible's the word of God, and it says, and yet they never know what they're talking about. They're liars, they're ignorant, they're murderers, they're cock blockers, they're like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? Why should I care about any of that stuff? I'd rather just, I'm just, what I'm into is it's about the witchcraft and being a Bob Marley fan, and loving Haile Selassie. Those things replace the Bible and all that. Those were just stepping stones to get so you can understand this. Haile Selassie's life was so submerged in the Bible that if you're close to Selassie, you don't need the Bible, So yeah, I realized that the experts on the academics would say, no, Angie, the apocalypse isn't fulfilled with Haile Selassie, because the writers of the Bible didn't mean that, but it was sealed until the time of the end. It's based on prophecies from Daniel, which was sealed until the time of the end. It says Daniel didn't understand it, and the Bible is sealed by the 7 seals, and only the Lion of Judah, are they the Lion of Judah? Only the Lion of Judah can open the seals before it can be understood. It's not supposed to be understood. And how is anything that's happened the end times? Only right now is the end of times. It's perfectly clear that we're about ready to outgrow all the stuff that hasn't been serving us and replace it with new things that are going to serve us. And the Yan Sui add that, and that includes world peace, that war is an out-of-date concept, And that's the message of Haile Selassie's life story, that peace and how to do it, and what steps we need to take and what we need to believe and envision and work towards, And those are the fruit of these things. Not that anybody's right, not that anybody should be giving me any money, not that I'm smart or better or anyone else is better, but that we need to put things of the past, not trash things of the past, but concentrate on building new things, not trashing old things, build on them, and that replaces them.